So you built the label, but where's the money? If you've got music, merch, and a logo, but no system that pays you while you sleep, then you don't have a business. What you've got is a brand with bills. And in this video, I'm going to show you the 3 critical steps to turn your label into a profit machine. How to acquire the rights, license them for leverage, and systemize your operation so it prints money on repeat. So let's fix your foundation before your label crumbles under the weight of your next release. The big corporations want you to think that you need a lot of venture capital or some fancy college degree to be successful, right? And I'm here to tell you that they're wrong, and you know they're wrong. They have their own reasons for wanting you to think that, but it's not true in your situation. What you need are systems. In this video, I'm helping beginners who are just getting their personal self-run record labels off the ground so they won't screw up too badly as they begin to grow, and artists who are already making money who just need this very system to tighten up what they've already been doing. This video is for you as well, okay? The goal is for you to understand that a record label that is systemized, no matter how much marketing knowledge you have, is the key to longevity in this business, so you can use your opportunities gained to level up into larger endeavors. Many of you all know in the past my record label went bust due to running out of capital and maxed out credit cards. The albums we put out profited, but the label did not. It was a 50-50 situation, but my 50% had a lot of trial and error cash invested that was not recoupable by the label. My engineering business died out as well as my production business due to low momentum. So I learned structure when I was forced to start over selling another product in the industry, but was determined to get it right. So when I did, I found out that this stuff was already there, and you and I as creatives just don't know it because on the way in, we didn't get told this stuff just so the industry can make money off of us. So there are 3 things you gotta get right. You gotta acquire ownership. You gotta license and leverage that ownership. And then you gotta systemize it. You got to monetize and multiply the operation itself and the ownership. Once I learned how to do this, it was game over. Only a few of my clients get this far and succeed. The rest are too scared to finish or just realize that they really don't want it that bad. So let's begin, because I was in that position. I don't know if I want it that bad. So let's do it. Let's talk about acquisition. Most artists who run their own labels do not know how to acquire ownership of their intellectual property, and because of that, the rest of this video becomes difficult or just plain out invalid for you guys because you all don't understand that you don't have the keys to play on a big boy level. The reason why artists and creatives get stuck here is everybody wants to be amicable and sing kumbaya around a campfire, saying everybody should have a slice. However, this does not create growth. This creates a stall. How do I know this? I was in your shoes before. I was doing the 50-50 deals down the middle with no paperwork, screwing my own self over. So as an artist or creative, figure out where you stand on ownership and what you want to own. Acquire it through contracts, scan those documents and save them in the cloud and on your computer, and then put them on a USB drive or a DVD in a safe for record keeping. Yes, I said DVD. They actually don't tend to fail over the years when things go bad, right? You'll acquire this publishing and master ownership from producers and writers. So make sure you set up a payment system for the royalties properly. Keep your books clean and run lean. If you don't, you'll end up fat and bloated, and you'll find yourself in a slow, agonizing death of why doesn't this work? You will. Once you get the ownership, we can begin to do other things with your owned intellectual property that most artists don't think of but dream of. If you create your contracts with clear language, creators will appreciate you for going the extra mile to help them understand, making it easy for them. I actually have a master pub split sheet in my e-commerce store. You just got to go to musicmoneymakeover.com. It's going to give you that simple language. Just side point. A lot of my songs are not registered for copyright due to the fact that many creatives have creative differences and money issues and samples involved. However, when I did this for my current creative business, things began to take shape, and this acquisition step will be difficult for most of you all. But stay the course because it will pay off. If you want to streamline it, keep your creation circle small and the drama will stay at a minimum. Acquisition is not complicated. Just create the music, sign your producer contracts, transfer the rights to your LLC, then register them for copyright under your LLC. It's really that simple. It's just human behavior that gets in the way, and attitudes and emotions and money and all this other stuff that gets in the way. Then we got to license and leverage, right? The first license music artists enter into is putting their music directly on the DSPs. However, this is low-level leverage because it doesn't take much to do. When artists only stop here, it's usually because they don't know what else to do next, which leads to failure due to low cash flow. I'm quite sure you understand. If you continue to have low cash flow, you will eventually stall out. Then you have to start the process over again. We don't like that. Once I entered the sync game though, it clarified how big licensing can get. And when I entered the e-learning game, it showed me the value of solving a problem with intellectual property. All in all you're using is the act of licensing to leverage your creations for high dollar amounts. Not by creating something new, but by delivering that same music and intellectual property for multiple use cases that customers and fans will pay a premium for, creating minimal input and getting maximum output. So create the original music, then pair it with a use case, then put a price on top, and then sell that to the market of customers that you have. Those customers could even be investors and financial institutions. Once you do this, the music industry becomes fun at that point because you no longer chase streams wondering why you're getting paid so little. You see what I'm saying? You got to see the big picture. It took me years to figure that out. But once I did, I started sharing it with you guys, especially people in my community. They're getting the real raw breakdown of how all of this stuff works. And to be honest, it's been sitting in front of your eyes for so long. You just never paid attention to it. And the best part is, it will never go away. It's everlasting. Once you see the blueprint, you can't unsee it. You think you need a bunch of heavy promo, and you do need something to get off the ground. I'm not going to lie to you. But once you fulfill a use case, you're in there because then you're going to see the rest of them. You know what I mean? And then it's just going to be off to the races. We're going to be in there like swimwear. So far we covered how to acquire ownership and leverage your licenses. But this next part is where a lot of you guys will lose your revenue potential. This is where the real magic happens. Turning your label into a money-making machine that works while you stay asleep or while you sleep. So stay with me because I'm about to share how I completely transform how I run my business. Don't attempt to go this far without a record label structure because you will create a bunch of headaches for yourself and waste time trying to go back and fix things later. Trust me, I know. That's why I created my 60-day record label system beneath this video that you can grab right now, complete with funding for you once you've completed the course. Okay? You can get it today. Now let's talk about systemizing, monetizing, and multiplying. Let's get heavy here. Most artists will think that they need a manager, and that manager will hire a bunch of people to make things run smoothly. But the reality is, one piece of software can do about 20 jobs. Now, in addition to that, a lot of you will want to multiply what you're doing out of the gate, but this only causes things to break. Many artists spread out wide and grow wide when you need to grow tall. You don't need more products. You need to multiply your sales of that one product you created, and that fan base will then consume that. If you made it to the point of chaos after leveraging your music, then you know that you're going to need a system to make the process from seller, which is you, to the buyer, which is the fan, simple and easy. And the royalty payouts from sales to producers and writers have to be tight, and your cash flow analysis has to be even tighter if you want to see your profit. Also, the system you pass everything through has to be tight in order to multiply your streams, sales, and product delivery efficiently. It has to be. When I learned how to systemize everything I was doing, I only needed a manager to maintain the system, not chaos. However, if I couldn't afford a manager, I could still run the systems myself because I built them. Once I got to this point, all I needed to do was multiply how much product and money I could move through that system based on my fan base size. Now, I'll give you another real example that helped clients seek and sync, okay? I tell all my clients to add a one-stop agreement to their producer contract. That way, it makes their song easier to be picked up into a sync catalog, a system at its finest. Very simple one, but it works. Now, I want you to find one product and write down all of the software required to make that transaction run smoothly with just a few clicks. Get it down to 10 actions at max and 3 at minimum. Once you do this, make sure the customer has a simple transaction process as well. Then slowly begin to push more product through that system you built so it doesn't break, but also so you can grow your revenue and keep up with customer demand as it increases. Once you do this, you won't hire unnecessary people and your self-run label will run a lot smoother. Because once I started to systemize my business, I didn't have any need for a manager until the system started to overload. Then I hired help. But the job of help became easier as they had time to optimize the system even further for smoother operation. So then they didn't have to work so hard. So then it became a smooth operation. You don't need a lot of software, just the software that makes each job the easiest at the lowest price. You see what I'm saying? Now here's what you can do, and here's what I want you to do. Now, though I've been saying it throughout the whole video, write down one product, let's say streams. Write down your distribution system and how your customer will get the product with quality, and then write down 3 ways you're going to multiply its consumption. Then write down how you're going to make sure producers and writers get paid. Lastly, write down how you're going to take profit from the cash flow. This is how you scale a self-run record label. Is it easy? No. Is it better when you understand the process a bit more? Absolutely. So how much longer will you continue to wallow in your confusion? How much longer can you afford not to get this part right? You got the music, your systems suck. Now, if you need help with devising a strategy, you can join our group strategy calls every Monday night at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time inside of the Music Money Makers community. Click the link below to join today. Join us. We'll be glad to have you. You know what I mean? But by all means, you got to be unapologetic. The truth is, this structure follows every single business on the planet, and everybody has the instinctual skills to get started. Getting started takes time, education, and eventually money. But the only thing stopping you is your belief in yourself and the music that you've created. The key is to let it go and just be unapologetically who you are without remorse. That's how you get to the money, by being vulnerable. So the question is, will you be you? You know what I'm saying? What's it going to cost you to not be you? Think about that. Listen, watching more videos without taking action is just delaying where you're trying to go. And the costs are threefold, right? You're losing money daily by not systemizing your label, experiencing the frustration of seeing others succeed while remaining stuck, and facing the choice between accepting mediocrity or building a proper system. What this does is this causes you to hate on people because you wish you were where they are. You know what I mean? So that, for lack of a better word, hateration comes into play. And then every month of delay is another month of potential revenue lost forever, because you can't go back and get tomorrow or yesterday. You can't go back and get yesterday. At the end of the day, if you were struggling with not having clear ownership of your intellectual property, or operating without proper licensing structures and settling for minimal streaming revenue, or even running your label chaotically without systems, leading to inefficiency and lost revenue, you now have the means to become a label owner who masters intellectual property ownership, strategic licensing, and systematic operations for maximum revenue generation. Music Money Makers, if you make music, you should always make money. Log on to musicmoneymakeover.com, grab the 60-day record label course beneath this video, complete with funding. Jump into the Music Money Makers community. Let me answer your questions there. Grab the free stuff. Watch this video right here coming up next, and I'll see you next time. Peace.